touched on leaving comments or review. We got one on YouTube. Ellie, do you want to read it?
Here we go.
Excellent.
This comes from Miss Lady Lexi. She said, loved this. Just got into ACOTAR, and I love hearing this little discussion group to really get a good understanding of what I've been reading. I love hearing each of your imagery compared to what I had in my head. Don't we all join for that? Like, I want to know what you're seeing versus what I'm seeing. She said, you guys are funny, and I felt like I was chilling with you discussing the book and laughing together. You are.
Yay, you are. We're all laughing together.
We're all laughing together.
Mostly at our expense.
Yeah.
But that's what friends do. That's
you gotta laugh at yourself. Yeah, it's that John Mulaney joke.
Because if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. So
yeah, they're like, no, you were laughing, and they're like, oh, what, like friends? And they're like, no, you're laughing at each other, like friends.
I love John Mulaney. I love John Mulaney, and I love Nate Bargatze. Those are my two favorite comedians.
Yes. Also, Shane Gillis is making his way up there for me.
Shane Gillis. Yes, I forgot. Honestly, he's edging out John Mulaney the more I see of him.
How dare you?
In my top 2, because there can only be 2. In my top 3, no one's being edged. Context, Ellie.
Yeah.
All right, 2. So, one last little, I don't know, not news, but housekeeping before we jump into our book or review.
Yes.
We mentioned this last week, but we're both super excited. We're going to be doing indie books the entire month of June, which is going to be so exciting.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
It doesn't really have a nice ring to it.
And I just want to say, I didn't know last week because I hadn't started, but now I've started. These books are good.
They're really good.
Not just, oh, my friend maybe can write. No, these are good. And I wasn't expecting it, but from page 1, I am currently reading A Cursed Kiss. Oh my gosh. I'll link it and I'll post it. We'll post something about us doing this in June, and then I'll link the books so you guys can get them and read them before we start. But it's so good.
We're also going to have, when we post about it, we'll have the order of what week we're releasing which episode. So that you guys can read the books prior to that week so that you'll know coming in. And one thing that is actually really cool about what we're doing with these episodes is we've connected with each author, and each author is going to be on that episode. So we want you guys to read the books beforehand, 1, so that there's no spoilers, but 2, so that you guys can let us know if you have any questions for the author, and then we'll be able to ask them. And you'll get your answers on the pod.
Yeah.
So
also,
we'll come out with that soon.
Want to throw this out there. The Cursed Kiss book I was talking about, it is written by Jenny Hickman. Yes. Chef's Kiss. So we are doing 4.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yes, Jenny. The first one, obviously, A Cursed Kiss, Jenny Hickman. The second one, and again, not in this order. We are just doing 4 in a random order. So keep you on your toes.
But we'll let you know what the not random order is when we have it.
Second one is The Unseelie King's Rebel by Alicia Klapeek. Once again, I'm not sure about that last name, and I'm so sorry. But by the time...
First question we have for her is the pronunciation of her last name.
Third, Elegy of Twilight by Angela Ford. I can't wait to read that one. And then last one is... Sing to Me Dreams, Nightmares, and Mayfly Deeds by... Don't rush me.
Okay.
Sarah Chaol Wilson.
So, you heard it here first, except you didn't. If you listened last week, then you heard it there first. But we're excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a cool way to promote some books that maybe no one has heard of, but also really get to know the thoughts behind authors and what they're thinking when they're writing these books, because Lord knows I could never, but I would love to be able to write a book, so I'd like to pick their brains.
I would too. It's not my strong suit, but man, some of these I'm reading, I'm like, how do you do it? I want to do that.
Know.
Maybe I could. And then I really take a step back and self-reflect a little bit, and I'm like, I'll just read them and leave
maybe not
the good stuff to the people who can do it. Perhaps
awesome.
not.
All right, well, Ellie, are you ready now that we've been, are you ready to jump in to our final week of our Crown of Midnight stretch in this series?
Yes, I am.
Okay, but before we jump in, this is the last time, you guys, if you're sick of hearing me saying this, guess what? Last episode.
Yes.
I don't.
Lord knows I'm sick of you. Just kidding.
Thinking about what we're going to talk about, I'm pretty sure that there are not any Assassin's Blade spoilers in this episode, but just in case we get off on a tangent or something, I'm going to say it. We have already read and released episodes of Assassin's Blade. So if you are reading the books in publication order and have not gotten there yet, maybe skip this episode until you've either read the books or listened to our Assassin's Blade episodes, because there might be spoilers. All right.
Nice.
Now, jumping in, chapter 38 through 56, which is the end of the book. I think I already said this, but I'm going to say it again just in case. Ellie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, Dorian spends a lot of his night in the library searching for books on magic, but he finds none. He hears footsteps and pretends to read as Celaena appears. She says she's just out for a walk and gives him a smile. I like how they're both trying to be, like, cool when they're both trying to hide things.
I felt like they're being more like friends again.
Well,
yeah,
for sure, but I just meant like, oh, what are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. Like,
yeah.
So he stares at Celaena, which prompts her to apologize for not really being herself lately. Dorian says he understands, and then Chaol ruins everything and walks into the library. He's looking for information about the song that Selena was singing at Nehemia's grave, but he also then overhears Selena and Dorian talking, and the jealousy in him.
I kind of feel like, why is that your biz?
I know. Well, that exactly. To me, it's like, I almost, if this wasn't a book and if this was real life, I would be like, bet that's why you're here. You probably followed her in the library.
No, you little creep.
Honestly.
Man, we switched up on Chaol quickly. It's been maybe 10 chapters, and I don't think we go back to ever liking him again.
But here's the thing. I don't feel like I was this... I was definitely not feeling like this when I was first reading the book. I am only being like this because I know the rest of the story. Anyways, Chaol, I guess if there's anything good, he's at least grateful that Selena is talking, even if it's not to him. So, there +1 back to him. He sees the head librarian and asks him if he knows any of Terrason's songs that are sung in another language. The librarian says that he has heard that when a Terrason noble dies, they would sing a song in the language of the Fae, but that practice was sacred to the royal family, so no one else would know the songs unless they were of noble blood. Chaol then realizes that Selena must be part of the Terrason nobility, and then just leaves. That's it. And then also realizes at that point that would make her a significant threat. So here we are, back to being Chaol.
And it's just, I feel like, threat to who? Like, really step back and look at your life. Threat to who, Chaol? To the king, who we hate?
He serves, yes.
I know.
All right, so then, Ellie, get ready for this.
Yes. Oh,
the carnival, hired for Prince Holland, is preparing to leave when Selena comes looking for none other than...
Bye, Yellowlegs. I practiced that in the car because I thought you'd pitch it. I thought you'd like throw me the ball and I'd freaking hit it out of the park.
I just pitched it to you.
Yeah, I'm saying thanks.
I stole the one thing from you earlier on accident, but also not really an accident. So I really set you up for this one. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm a generous and great friend. Okay. She finds the witch in her wagon, and the wagon's interior is gloomy and littered with junk. However, it looks a lot bigger on the inside than it appears on the outside. Magic. But magic is banned, so interesting. Or gone, not banned. They walk through a forest. Well, you're right. They walk through a forest of mirrors and reach a fireplace. Selena is nervous because she knows what the witches are capable of. But she hands Baba the riddle from Elena's tomb, and says that she's having trouble figuring it out. Baba tells her...
Wait. Can I just... We said the name, and we laughed a little and then moved on, but, like,
I know.
Can we really soak in the fact that... I'm sorry, Sarah, this was your largest mistake. You named someone who's actually supposed to be a real-life threat. Baba Yellowlegs? I'm sorry, but what like in the actual heck? That is not threatening.
That's
a child's toy. That's a Fisher Price item. That's not a witch, an Iron Tooth witch.
She's not Iron Tooth, so she's... Oh, I guess technically, yes, she is. But she's Yellowlegs, not...
Yeah.
What, Blackbeak. That's the other one. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
right.
We'll get into that in a little bit. Anyways, can we talk about how you pictured her? I will go first. I pictured the evil queen from Snow White, but when she is an old lady, not in her old lady queen form, except for her legs and legs only. I pictured, yes, but SpongeBob when he like lifted up his dress in that one episode, except it was like, you know how the animation SpongeBob, but then it goes to like real life animation kind of.
The muscly one?
Muscly, skinny, and hairy.
Yes!
That is exactly how I pictured her legs.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I'm going to jot this down so that we can make a little visual for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
In case you weren't cool and didn't have a vivid memory of SpongeBob from your childhood, we'll help you out. Ellie still watches SpongeBob. I just need to throw that out there.
Yeah, man. Saturday morning cartoons. Actually, I've not been as up on the sponge as I once was, but... It's because I've been doing so much reading. I have read more this year than ever before, and we're barely in Q2 right now. I'm going to post my top 10 Q1 books. Thank you. I really love reading. Who would have thought? After I started the podcast and everything, who would have thought?
Then your love for reading. Also, love that you just used business terms to talk about how the year is divided up.
Thanks. My fiscal year.
Trust the accountant. Trust the accountant to bring in Q2 when we're talking about the year and reading
books.
books.
Would like to tell you how she saw Baba Yellowlegs. Okay. I pictured also Disney, but this one's kind of maybe a lesser known one. Have you ever watched Sword in the Stone?
Oh, yes, but a long time ago.
It's the like lady that the wizard duels with. I don't know her name. But she's like crazy. Yeah. She got the crazy hair and the crazy swirly eyes when she looks at them. And she's like bounces all over the place. That's how I pictured. Also a mix of the one from Brave. The one that sells all the wood. Yeah.
Yes,
so a mix of those two.
I mean, that makes sense. She's a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like my SpongeBob
But I think we're both
better.
kind of, as far as the face and body goes, I think we're both in the same realm.
Yes. All right. So, Selena hands Baba the riddle from Elena's tomb and says that she has trouble figuring out. And Baba tells her that it's about the location of 3 word keys. Now, I'm going to be so honest. When I was reading this for the first time, I was so confused because this is the first time we're hearing anything about word keys. We've heard of word marks.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard of, the word and stuff, but this is a whole new element that we're adding in here, and I feel like they just so casually started talking about this as if we should know. I mean, I realized that she knew that we wouldn't, but it just felt so much information in 5 paragraphs. But
sure,
essentially, she then explains that word keys open word gates, which allow beings to move from one world to another. Then she starts talking about the Volg, which are demons from another planet who took 3 pieces of a word gate and then which turned into the word keys, allowing them to open the gate at will and use its power for evil. Maeve, another new character in this, who's a Fae queen, found the keys, but for whatever reason could not put them back into the gate. So she sent them to Brannon, who is way back when in Terrasen. He was a king, to hide them in Aurelia, preventing anyone from using that power again. So, literally, I was what? Whiplash reading this, being who are all these people?
It's a lot of information very quickly. Baba lays it on thick.
She sure does. Selena realizes that Nehemia was searching for the keys, and she suspects that the king is too. Baba confirms that the king actually already has one. I was wow, that felt like something she should not be telling random people in her wagon. But then Selena is weaving through the mirrors which distort sight and sound, and then she sees the witch. She gets eerie of her, so she throws a dagger, but then it hits a mirror, not the witch. Selena isn't fast enough to dodge Baba and her skinny yellow SpongeBob hairy legs. And Baba dodges a chain from Baba, and so Baba whips it across Selena's head. I felt like this too was also, I had to go back and reread it because I'm like, did I miss something? She literally went from like giving her all this information to Selena being like, why are you telling me this? That's sus. I'm gonna kill you. And then Baba's like, not if you can't catch me. And then that's
really
how the
did
chapter
think
ended.
maybe you forgot to like write something in there because I'm like, how quick did this just go from like,
No,
here's the information
went,
you wanted
like, zero.
to like, I'm gonna throw this dagger at you little sus.
I mean, I obviously am not reading it verbatim, but it was very quickly went from 0 to 100. So then Selena lies on the floor in Baba Yellowlegs Baba Yellowlegs wagon, head pounding from the chains, and the witch approaches. Selena then headbutts her, takes a dirt-coated axe from the wall, and smashes all the mirrors.
Immediately tetanus. Immediately first thought tetanus.
Literally. Baba gets the chain around her ankle, Selena's ankle, causing her to fall. They're fighting on the ground. And then Selena grabs the axe, hits Baba with the broad side of it, and knocks her away. Baba then comes back. She's not fighting like she's as old as she looks. She charges again, but then Selena just casually chops off her head, and blue blood sprays everywhere. She then puts the witch's body in the fire in the wagon, and then leaves. The end. I'm just kidding. No, but like...
Yikes.
I was like, again, these 2 chapters, I was like, what is happening? And then the next, then she goes down to Elena's tomb. Mort calls her Witch Slayer. I'm like, how do you know about this so quickly?
The doorknob knows all.
And then he warns her that Baba Yellowlegs clans will come asking questions about her disappearance. So we get like a really creepy, or a really like vague foreshadow there with what's gonna the comeuppance of what just happened. Selena stands in the library facing the stairwell to the castle's catacombs. She uses a spellbook that she found previously to help her open the locked iron door. She writes several word marks on the door in chalk while whispering a spell, and then the door unlocks. And she walks through it with Damaris, which I didn't mention this, but she previously grabbed it when Mort called her a witch slayer. She grabbed Damaris from Elena's tomb. She has that in her hand. She descends a small staircase and sees a hall with 99 iron doors that look a lot like a dungeon. And I just want to point out here that fat chance that she counted 99 doors. This feels like she just rounded up, but I'm going to take her word for it.
I mean, if you're going to round up, I wouldn't say 99. I would just say 100. I would say 98.
Actually, if I'm not going to count, I'm just going to round up. I'm going to say there were 3,000 doors.
If that's not the truth, I am the biggest exaggerator of numbers. I could see 6 and be like, there's like 1,000 here. I don't know what to do.
It's too many. I'm overwhelmed. Honestly, also, since we're talking about numbers, I am the worst at those like visual guessing games. Like if there's like a jar and there's like paper clips and someone's like, guess how many, the person who gets the closest wins.
Oh my gosh.
There could be like 40 and I'm like 397. Or
okay,
flip side, there's like 600 and I'm like, there's at least 58 in here.
There was a game we were playing about guess like the numbers, and it was basically like guess the distance of the it was some like really famous trail, the Appalachian Trail or something like that. And I didn't realize that I have absolutely no reference of distance at all. It's insane. It is absolutely incredible. So I'm sitting there with my number written down on my card, and I was the last to go, as people are flipping their cards over with like, I don't know, 300 miles, 400 miles. I really realized that I made a whoops with 27,000 miles.
27,000?
And that wasn't a joke. I thought miles worked like that. I thought that they were like, that's like 4 times around the world, Ellie.
I was just about to say, I don't know this for certain, but I want to say that's at least once around the globe.
Yeah.
Whoops. That's fun. I love that for you.
I didn't win. I'll tell you that.
I lost big time. Oh, man. All right. Well, see, I guess, too, like, if I'm talking about, I don't know, the distance between California and New York, I'd be like, there's at least 500 miles there.
Yeah.
But it's way more than that. And I also, like, I don't know. I'm good with directions, but I'm bad with numbers and geography, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I'm good with books, but I'm bad with a lot of other things.
Okay, I'm also bad at a lot of other things, but I was talking about specifically how that contradicts. Anyways, all right, 99 iron doors. On the opposite side is another door, which she unlocks. Is that the 100th? Or is that
I would guess so.
Okay.
Or is that 99?
Is that the 99th? And there really were 98. Who's to say? She continues through 6 more doors, each leading to a passage with a smaller set of stairs and fewer doors. Selena then passes through the 6th one, and a voice in her head tells her to run. I don't know about you, but I listen to the voices in my head when they tell me to not do scary things. So
yes.
I would have immediately been like, nope, I'm done. Also, the second I'm having to do spells on a door to open it up, immediately is a red flag to me and says this is probably not something I want to be doing.
Selena's better than us. We know
that's true. That's so true. Something has smashed one of the cell doors from the inside. Again, red flag. But she sees nothing in it, so she's except for bones, chains, and gouges on the wall and the door. At least it's empty though, right? Yeah. She moves into the 8th passage and sees an open door leading into a steep rising set of spiral stairs. So naturally she climbs them and enters a high-ceilinged chamber. She then realizes the king, Parrington, and Roland all have rings on that are made of the same material as the obsidian walls in whatever room she's in. A loud boom shakes the room, and then she realizes she's in the castle's clock tower, where she defeated Cain in the previous book, Throne of Glass.
Oh.
Dorian, a few minutes ago, saw Celaena enter the library, so he naturally followed her and found the hidden staircase. He waited 10 minutes and then decided to follow her down into the catacombs. His magic urges him to run for help, but he moves forward, knowing he has to get Celaena out. Selena runs down the tower stairs, remembering Elena's words in Throne of Glass to stay away from this place. At the bottom, she sees that all the torches are now out, and she knows that she's not alone. The passage is entirely dark except for the glow of the eye of Elena that she's wearing around her neck. She hears breathing. Yikes. And then a hiss in her ear, so she turns and just blindly strikes with Damaris the sword, which is honestly exactly what I would do.
Yep.
I lost my spot.
I got you.
Yes,
she hits a creature.
Thank you. She hits a creature across the chest, and it screams and falls to the floor, hitting Selena in the face as it does. Selena recognizes the creature as being the same cloaked figure that she's seen outside the clock tower before. The spirit... Oh, sorry. She sprints towards... I can't read. She sprints towards the library, and her amulet is lighting the way. The creature catches up with her, grabs her, but she manages to hit it with Damaris again. It looks at her with pure hatred, and she sees that it has human characteristics. I know.
Uncanny Valley.
Yes, there it is. Uncanny Valley. If you don't know what we're talking about, I don't remember, but it's in one of our old episodes.
You never got it.
One?
No,
I just disagree. It didn't creep me out.
You don't. If you disagree, then you didn't get it. And it is in the episode where I am with you in the studio.
Oh, that's right. I disagree with your disagreement.
Basically, Melissa doesn't know what Uncanny Valley is. She thinks it's only animatronics. I've told her no like 1,000 times. She doesn't listen. And that's all that I can say.
Okay, so now you heard Ellie's lies. Here's the truth. Ellie explained to me what they were. She used the example of it being animatronics, and I had a hard time getting that out of my head. So for a while, yes, I wasn't fully understanding. However, she found a video and showed it to me, and so I now fully understand and just disagree. It's not as creepy as she thinks it is. The end.
No. It's so creepy. I'll have to show you another video.
That is my opinion! That is my favorite GIF to send in any situation.
Yeah.
All right. She recognizes that, creature has human characteristics. Dorian hears an inhuman scream and runs then while calling for Selena. She tells him to run as she's racing towards him, so he turns around and skirts out of there with her. She slams into one of the iron doors shut, but as she continues running towards Dorian, the creature bursts through it. When Dorian and Selena reach the final iron door that separates the catacombs from the library, they hold it shut as the creature tries to break through. Selena knows that she has to seal the door. She sees the edge of the door begin to grow red hot, and when she looks at Dorian, she realizes that he has magic, which is fun, but he's growing weak.
Dorian became so much cooler.
I know. Well, we knew he had magic already, but this is the first time he's telling anyone, or at least that anyone's seeing him use it, and they realize what's happening. He's growing weak and pale under the strain, and he's unable to control it. The creature gains a grip on the door, so Dorian grabs Damaris and hits it on the wrist. The door slams shut, and Selena says that they need to find a way to seal the door that the creature can't undo. She sends him up the library to find the Book of Spells. After he brings it, Selena finds a spell and makes word marks on the door with her blood. They let go of the door, and the creature forces it open. As it tries to pass the threshold, it freezes, which is what Celaena had enchanted to happen.
Oh, Selena she's so smart.
I know. Selena cuts off his head and releases the spell, causing the body to fall. She hacks it up with Damaris before kicking it all inside the door and then closing it. Just casually, again.
I just have the funniest picture in my head about that.
Honestly, between her hacking up Baba and then now hacking up this creature, she's done a lot of damage to
singing slasher.
Oh, and then as if none of that happened, Dorian takes Selena to his room, where she then recounts exactly what happened before he met up with her under the library. She doesn't tell him, though, that she believes the king made the creature because it had a human heart. She privately thinks that the king made the clock tower and the black rings using a word key. Selena asked Dorian about his magic, and he explained that it began a few weeks ago and has grown stronger, but he needs to find a way to learn to control it, and he has yet to understand why he even has it. After leaving Dorian's tower, Selena immediately goes to the castle dungeon to speak with Kaltain. I remember reading this part, I was like,
Kaltain
what?
Back.
Well, wait for it. Remember this? She remembers Kaltain saying the king had tricked her and was using her. And when Dorian, back in his room, when Dorian had shown her the genealogy book, because he was explaining to her, like, he doesn't know why he has magic, Selena noticed that the Rompier line had magic. A lot of it.
Oh, jinx.
She also noted that the line ended, in the book, it says that the Rompier line ended 2 generations ago. However, Kaltain is proof that the line was still intact. So that's suspicious. That's
weird.
Selena finds Kaltain's cell empty, and the guard tells her that Parrington took her and Roland to Morath to get married. I was like, okay, why? I understand Kaltain already said Parrington wants to marry her, so I get that. But why does Roland have to come? And then that also set off alarm bells for Selena, because she realized that Kaltain and Roland have both been suffering from headaches, and they've, like, at different times have mentioned it. Selena also remembers that the creature's eyes, which looked relieved when she killed it, or she remembered what the creature's eyes looked like. She wonders who the creature was and what the king did to it.
Oh, she has such good thoughts and theories already.
This whole chapter, I was like, what? Like, reading it.
I feel like it's different because we know what's happening. That it's like, wow, she caught on quick.
Yeah. Selena then returns to Elena's tomb and looks at the queen's sarcophagus. She removes a blue gem from the queen's crown, and it reveals a small compartment. But it's empty, and Selena knows that the king's word key was hidden here at one point. To which Mort confirms, yes, saying the king was 20 when he took it. I was so irritated with Mort at this point. I'm like, well, you could have freaking told her that a book ago.
I know.
Like, are you
kidding?
What a
doorknob.
What a literal doorknob. Like, are you kidding? And I understand that he's been, like, silenced, been given a gag order. But he couldn't have, like, made it more obvious. I know. Well, because she figured it out first.
He could have, pointed his little doorknob nose in the direction of the word key where it was.
I can't tell you anything. And like stares at it,
pointing the nose at the direction.
Selena realizes that the king used the word key to suppress all other magic except for his own, which also meant that he likely had 2 word keys, not 1. She decides that she must talk to Nehemia to see what her plan had been prior to dying, and she also wanted to say goodbye. Selena leaves the tomb and goes down a different passageway with a door she's never opened, hoping to open a portal to the other world. Selena cuts her arm and uses the blood to write word marks in an arch on the wall.
I feel like anytime you have to cut blood, that's a no-no. I don't think whatever you're opening up is what wants to be opened up. If you've got to shed some blood, and that goes for real life too, people.
Same.
Just don't. Keep the blood on the inside, I think.
If that's not foreshadowing for what happens between now and the rest of the book, I don't know what is. She recites a spell, and then the stones and the arch disappear. She whispers Nehemia's name and gets no response. I literally wish I could have been a fly on the wall for this, like, doing this chanting and then just going, Nehemia. Like, I picture it being so anticlimactic and just so funny. I understand it's, like, a big deal, but in my head, I laughed reading this part.
You have such a way to make the most, like, intense or precious parts of these books just absolute buffoonery. Nehemia.
It's how I live my life, so it's how I read my books.
I love it.
Yeah. But she gets no response after whispering her name. Also, I just, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it. Fleetfoot enters the room and sits on the front of the portal. And when the dog entered, I'm like, no. Fleetfoot, you and your dumb name, turn your tail back around and leave this situation, because we're nearing the end of the book. Nothing good can happen, and the dog needs to be saved at all costs. The dog cannot
be in danger.
The dog needs to be saved. Nehemia then appears and says Selena should never have opened this portal and should never do it again. Nehemia explains that she knew her fate and accepted it because she knew it was the only way to improve the world. She says that Selena was a light for her in the darkness and asked that she not let it go out. But then she disappears. And who else but none other than Super Weenie Hut Jr. Archer walks into the chamber. When that happened, I'm like, what the how? I mean, we knew this guy was a sleaze, but how did you know this was down here? How are you here? But guess what? We get answers immediately in the next chapter.
Oh, good.
Selena draws Damaris and asks the same thing. What in the Super Weenie Hut Jr. are you doing here? And I'm telling you guys, that is verbatim what it says in the book. Just kidding.
Yeah.
He says Nehemia showed him the tunnels, and he's been here almost every night since her death. At this point, I don't believe one word that's coming out of his mouth.
Get out of here.
Yeah, wrong answer. If survey says
0.
Top 100 answers, that is not one of them. Selena wipes away the word marks, but they don't fade. Archer grabs her wrists and sees a tattoo that Nehemia had drawn on with the warning to not trust someone. And she realizes that Nehemia was then warning her about Archer.
Bum, bum, bum.
The cards are all falling into place. Archer asks Selena if she used a word key to open the portal, and Selena asks how he knows about them. He says he planted the riddle in Davis's office for her. Oh my goodness, this sleaze. Nehemia came to Rifthold to see if the king had any word keys, and Archer says that they can use them to overthrow the king. To make Archer lower his guard and reveal information, Selena pretends to agree with him.
Smart.
Yes, you're so
honestly
right.
Smart. And you know what? I have something to say.
What a strong man.
I hate when I just watched this actually the other day. For example, the show You. when the bad guy, like, doesn't, I guess, play all his cards or, like, doesn't let you, and then you're like, I know what you're doing, and they just spill all of this, and they're like, well, then I'm gonna kill you immediately. It's just, like, why would you do that? Like, if it were me, I would absolutely be like Selena and just play along and be like, oh you know what, you're so right. What? This is so true.
We could totally make a better world.
What's happening? Not like, no. You'll never get me to join. Immediate death. Immediate.
I know.
So
I know. If you have any chance of surviving, you lie through your teeth.
We've watched enough Criminal Minds to know that you have to bolster the ego of the criminal to get out of that situation alive.
The ego of these men is very fragile and small. They need it. As Archer is very obviously showing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Archer wants to punish the king for all he has done and says Nehemia left the rebel movement a week before she died. Selena continues to express sympathy. So then, and honestly, what a fracking idiot. I don't know why he would do this. Then he admits to hiring Grave and posing as Minister Mullison. So he just learns he killed Nehemia.
And thinks she's going to be, like, all up on his side.
And be like, yeah, you know what? Everything you did was still for the right reasons. What a idiot. Archer also kidnapped Chaol to get Celaena out of the way and took an arrow for her on purpose so that she would trust him. This guy's psychotic, honestly.
Not the worst plan, though. Truly, and I mean this, in all the criminal shows I've seen, when, like, you shoot yourself, they don't look at you as you're, like, the bad guy. So
that's so true.
Not the worst plan.
Yeah, well, it's not a bad plan, but we hate him. So
no, we hate him.
We're rolling with it. I'm sorry, I lost my place again. Oh, yes. Thank you. He knows who Selena really is and insists they would make a great team. As he steps toward her, Selena stabs Archer in the shoulder with her dagger, as she should.
Good.
She puts her hand on the word marks to steady herself, reopening the portal.
Oh, Nehemia just said, it's okay.
I know. She said, don't do this, and she does it. Selena hears a growl and sees a tall, wiry creature step through the portal.
And that's why.
That's why Nehemia had warned her. Chaol wasn't able to sleep and hears rushing footsteps in the hall, so he gets out of bed.
Did you picture Chaol with his, like, nightie and his little lantern going down these steps like, hello? And then seeing this mess.
No, I think I've said this before. I picture Chaol as the one twin from the redheaded twin from Tangled with the eye patch.
Oh, yeah. You've mentioned that a few times.
He is 100% of the time wearing that outfit. He sleeps in it. He always, in my mind, he is always wearing that, like, green tunic,
a true
black
cartoon
belt.
Character.
Yes, exactly. He opens the door, and just as Dorian begins knocking, and Dorian says Selena's in trouble. So he dresses, which immediately debunks my theory of him being in the same clothes always. And they walk quickly to her room, trying to not draw attention to themselves. They break through her bedroom door and hear a scream. So they race down the stairs, or they see a blue flash and hear a roar. They enter the chamber, see the rocky, misty otherworld, Archer cowering by a wall, Selena unconscious on the floor, and Fleetfoot growling at the creature to keep it away from Selena.
Real quick. Rocky, misty otherworld. Do we think that's the middle in Prithian?
Oh. I didn't
have those creatures.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think twice about it. Now that you're mentioning it, maybe. Who's
also,
to
it's
say?
A misty. Oh, the mist. How that's like the, read my mind.
Yes.
Those are like the points where you can open the portals, where it's like the weakest or the most potent for.
Well,
the thin.
The thin spaces. Yes, however, that is, the mist was already there prior to opening anything. The mist wasn't there until after it was open. So I will say that.
Well, we don't know if it's ever been opened there before, though. Might be open there. That's maybe where Cain was grabbing his little demons.
I know, I'm just saying, your whole reference of the mist being, like, where thin spots are, the mist is explaining what the other world looks like, not, like, where they opened the portal. That's what I'm saying. They opened the portal in Elena's too, like, down and under the castle.
Oh, no.
There wasn't
I know.
mist,
The mist
there
is...
prior to opening it. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. I'm saying, though, that the mist being through the portal in the other world would make sense that why the portal opened there in that world. Anyways,
I'm tracking with you now.
Not important. Go ahead.
All right. Chaol can't help himself, and he lunges at the monster. Selena opens her eyes, and after the creature slammed her head into the wall, she sees Chaol circling it and watches as Dorian sends it flying into a wall with his magic.
Go,
I
Dorian.
literally couldn't imagine being Chaol in this moment, though, to being 5 minutes ago asleep. And then you wake up.
Your best friend has magic.
Best friend
your
is telling you that
getting
the woman
attacked.
your best friend tells you that the woman you love is in danger. You go find a secret passageway down
and you still
to where
have crust in your eyes. There's too much happening.
Are still there, and you go and see a portal opened, a monster creature, the girl you love laying on the floor unconscious. Your enemy somehow down here as well, pooping his pants in the corner of the room, and a dog defending her. Then all of a sudden you try to attack this creature. Your best friend, the person you literally left your family for and your title of being a lord, has magic and didn't tell you and starts using that magic. I would be like, what is happening right now? He keeps it together a lot better than I did. I will give him 1 point for that as well.
I took personal offense when my best friend in high school, Melissa, would go on like family trips and not mention that she was like, "Oh, I'm going to Tahoe this weekend." I'm like, "Why wouldn't you say that?" So I took that personally. So I feel like had I found out you had magic, divorce, we're done.
Honestly, never friends again. Selena, Dorian sends it flying with his magic. Selena tells Archer to give her the spell book, but he says no and runs out of the room and takes it with him. She can't close the portal without the book. So, this is my favorite part. She's like, well, I need the book to close it. So, what the only logical thing to do? Chaol, the one mortal human here who has zero magic and, like, not a trained assassin, you stay here, fight that thing. Dorian and I were both gonna try and go get the book. Literally. They both leave Chaol by himself to fight this thing. Chaol knows he can't beat the monster, but he's just happy to buy his friends some time and help them to get out. I'm like, this golden retriever, honestly.
All right, he earns a couple points back from me for this one.
Agreed.
I'll do it.
He looks at Fleetfoot, who's lying in a corner with a hurt leg. That Sarah did me in with this one, not the dog. She dragged the dog into this. So then the creature follows his gaze and grabs the dog and starts dragging her through the portal. So Chaol does what any golden retriever would do and follows it like a good boy. Thank you.
I saw where you could have been going with that, and so I thought I'd insert.
Help me out, thanks.
Yeah.
Selena goes back when sees Fleetfoot and Chaol going through the portal, so she knocks Dorian in the head against the wall and goes through the portal herself. Honestly, I like that we don't get any explanation right now. It makes sense later. Like, obviously, she wanted at least one of them to if they're all gonna die, she needs one of them to live. I get that.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it's just like, what? I just again, me being me, ruining a serious moment. Seeing them go through it, and I see her panicking, looking at them, looking at Dorian, looking at them, and just going, "Whoa, back!" Just like cracking his head into the wall and just running through the portal, which is, I mean, honestly, exactly what happened.
It's what happened. To me, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty honorable, but could be comical as well. I see it from your point of view.
I see both sides.
Yeah.
When she sees Chaol unharmed and Fleetfoot facing the creature, this is when it gets good. She shifts into her Fae form. Fae, everyone. What? Are you hearing me? Selena shifts into a fae. And not just that, but then she blasts the demon creature with a ball of blue flame, burying her pointed teeth into the window as she roars. I was literally waiting. I'm like, Sarah cannot write a series without fae, and I need more than them just being referenced as... I thought she was doing that. No, like I need more than just them being referenced as being in the past. Like, and
no,
here,
I thought truly
it only took almost 2 full books.
Couldn't figure out why I didn't like the first 2 books because I didn't read Assassin's Blade first. I was like, I don't understand why like I'm having such a hard time grasping these and really falling in love like everybody is. It's because there were no fae. And I was like, what gives? Why am I reading about humans? Boring humans. And then when this happened, I was like, here we go. Here we go.
I am a human myself, and I can tell you, not worth writing a book about. That is for sure. But, okay, back to what matters here, Faye. Because she can't control her growing power, Selena tells Chaol to go back through the portal. She continuously hits the creature with blue fireballs, but it's dodging all of them. Once Chaol and Fleetfoot are back in the chamber, she channels her power into Damaris and shoves it into the ground. The ground around her crumbles, causing the monster to run. As Selena walks back through the portal, she returns to her human form and then collapses. Chaol carries her back to her her rooms. Sorry, the chamber. Dorian stumbles into the chamber to see Chaol dragging Selena through the portal, and he wonders what happened and why she knocked him out. Aren't we all, Dorian? Aren't we all? Chaol tells Selena to shut the portal, but she says she can't. However, she thinks Dorian can. A bewildered Chaol watches Selena use Dorian's blood to cast the same spell they use in the library catacombs. When she finished, the portal faded back into the stone. Selena then thinks of Archer, and her exhaustion turns to anger, and she runs out of the chamber before Chaol can stop her.
That's my girl. I was
just about to say, that's my girl. Selena follows Archer, furious that he's caused so much harm for revenge and power. She reaches the castle sewer, and Archer attacks her from behind. He tries to convince Selena. Super Weenie Hut Jr., I am telling you. He tries to convince Selena that he killed Nehemia for their sake, claiming that she would have ruined everything and that they need to stop the king. BS. Archer BS. This is where he lost me. I mean, honestly, he lost me before, but this is where he really lost me and where I wanted to then do exactly what Selena does to him. Mm-hmm. Archer taunts her. Oh, good. We are bringing this in. We are talking about Assassin's Blade. He taunts her about Sam. Like, what room, what business does he have doing anything? Like, but like, honestly, what a idiot in this moment to think this is what I am fighting with a Arabin's assassin, a trained assassin, once called Adarlan's assassin. And I think it's a great idea for me to mock her about the love of her life that died. This is a great time to do this.
I'll tell you right now, wouldn't be my move. Wouldn't be my first thought.
And immediately, Selena knocks him down and puts a dagger to his throat. As one would, being a trained assassin. He begs for mercy. I'm crying again, probably. It didn't specifically say that, but I'm just assuming. But she wants to make him suffer. However, she remembers Nehemia telling her not to let her light go out, so she lets Archer go. And I was like, not understanding where you're going with this, but all right. She warns him that he and his friends must leave tonight, or she will kill him. He tells Selena that he knew that she was a good woman, to which she responds by stabbing him in the heart and says that she's not, but Nehemia was. And honestly, if that's not the best... So good. Way to kill him and the way to tie that up, honestly.
Yep. Oh, so good.
Chaol then walks into the sewer tunnel just in time to hear Archer begging for his life and watching Selena kill him. She turns to face Chaol and says he deserves an explanation. I'm sorry. What? I mean, to be fair, a lot just happened. But again, what is it with the guys in these books not understanding timing? That is not the time or the place. Let's just walk back upstairs first, honestly.
Also, you never see Dorian doing something like this. It just
You don't.
Chaol only. So
And
I would
Archer.
go as far as say the guys, nah, it's just the ones who we just are just like stop, which is Chaol and Archer.
I know.
And Erbin. I'll add him to the list.
In Selena's room, a healer bandages Fleetfoot's injured leg and then bandages Dorian's temple. Selena dismisses him, and while he's annoyed, Dorian understands that this is between her and Chaol. Selena reveals her Fae ancestry, passed down from her great-grandmother, allows her to change form. She can become either human or Fae. When
this
magic
was a
had
big
disappeared,
deal.
I know.
Real
When
quick,
magic had
because-
disappeared. Sorry.
Oh.
You said
Okay,
real quick.
real quick. Because we know, obviously, if you're here, you probably read ACOTAR first, right? So we know about shifters. We know, Tamlin can turn into this big beast. We know Rhys can turn into, I don't know, something with wings, and the falcon, I don't know, what is he? A bird? A bird of some sort?
Bat? Oh, I
He's
don't
not
know.
Bat.
I pictured him being a bat because that's how they explain the wings. But
they talk about his talons.
His creature form. Yeah.
His creature, shifter form.
Yes, thank you. I don't remember, honestly. I just remember it being
Regardless,
like nothing like
we know
anyone
that
has
they
ever
all
seen.
have like a shifter form of some creature. It's not like they shift into human. So this was a big deal to read this and be like, her shifter creature is a human being.
Human.
That's crazy.
That
Loved
is
it.
crazy.
Great job, Sarah. Okay.
I know. I like that twist. She said when magic had disappeared, she had been in her human form, and so she lost the ability to shift out of it. But it was a blessing because Selena could not control it since she was so young. She then tells Chaol about word marks, spells, portals, Elena's tomb, Cain, and the Riderack. So he's learning a lot. She doesn't mention the king or the word keys, and Chaol swears not to tell anyone what she did reveal to him. Selena then explains Archer's betrayal and how he had hired Grave to kill Nehemia and put the blame on Chaol. She apologizes for attacking him, but says that she still can't trust him. He goes to her, but she leaves the room. Chaol processes what Selena had told him, knowing that she didn't, but he knows she still didn't tell him everything. Mm-hmm. He's also confused about Dorian and how he could possibly have magic. Understandable. He realizes how much danger Selena is in at court, being so close to the king, and goes to his father's room. He tells his father that the king should send Selena to Wendland to assassinate the royal family. And in exchange for his father helping him convince the king, Chaol promises to return to Aniel. Honestly, 15,000 points back to Chaol for this. I didn't see this coming, and I love that he's trying to help her.
Yeah.
Even though she still doesn't want anything to do with him. I'm like, all right. You have
that
really bad
your
timing,
integrity.
and you're really dumb sometimes, but I do appreciate the heart.
I'm sorry. I know we talked about this a lot, and I'm not trying to get into another conversation about it, but I can't get over the fact that he still is ultimately serving the king. As good as his intentions are, they should be better if you are serving someone like that. So I just feel like, okay, yeah, like I said, we see your integrity and that even though she's not your friend, you're going to do the best to support her. However, you're still not doing, like, the right thing, ultimately. Yeah. But that's just me. All right.
So they're in the king's council room, and the king is considering Chaol's idea of sending his champion to Wendland. It's a bold and ruthless plan, and 5 of the men support it. The king summons Selena and wishes Parrington were here to witness it. He also wants Parrington's help to discover who opened a portal last night. He could feel it open and close, but with Cain gone, he doesn't know who was capable of doing it. The king also thinks about Baba Yellowlegs, knowing that she was killed. Because he had invited the carnival, he invited all of this, the carnival, everything, under the guise of it being for his son, just so that he could talk to Baba. But she died before he had the chance. Selena then enters the room and Chaol explains his idea. She is to go to Wendland, kill the royal family, and take their military plans, allowing Adarlan to invade the country. Selena says it would be her honor to go, and the king tells her that she'll leave the next day. After pacing her room, Selena goes to the tomb and finds Elena waiting for her. She tells the queen that she can't go to Wendland, but the queen suggests that Chaol might be wanting her to be closer to the Fae, as Wendland is their last stronghold. Elena tells Selena to go and forget about the king and the word keys for now. I'm sorry. What? Elena
She's so
literally
all over the place.
look for the evil. You have to sacrifice your life. It's for the greater good. Oh, actually,
She drives me nuts.
Go on this trip, and you can just forget about all of it for a little bit. Go have fun. Do what he says. Go get close to the Fae.
Driving me nuts.
I'm like, honestly, your character is so pointless at this point.
It was very
Selena
snip-snappy. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Selena asks if Nehemia orchestrated her own death because she was more helpful dead than alive, but Elena, again, tells her not to think about that as it won't change anything. All right. Thanks for nothing. Selena stands on the dock looking at the ship as she's about to leave for Wendland. She hasn't said goodbye to Chaol. She starts stepping forward, but she hears Chaol telling her to wait. He asks if she understands why he's sending her away, and Selena does, but she says that she must still return at some point. She then tells him about word keys, word gates, Baba Yellowlegs, and the riddle to find the word keys. She also says that the king has at least 2 of them. She hands him the Eye of Elena, telling him to never take it off.
2 or 1?
I
think we're unclear if she has 2.
She thinks he has 2 because of how he's able to... We already talked about this. She thinks he has 2 after going down to the tomb and finding where the one used to be. After Mort confirmed that he had that one, she realizes he's using that to get rid of all the magic. And she's like, okay, well, he has to have more. So, Selena hands him the Eye of Elena, telling him to never take it off as it will protect him. She whispers something in his ear, but he doesn't know what it means. Selena steps away, and Chaol says he loves her, and Selena just says she's sorry and walks onto the ship. Chaol,
I can't believe you're
he
laughing.
wants her to sail away.
This was devastating. Funny. I think at the time, I know I pick at him, but I really was still Team Chaol at this time.
I know,
and
I was like, also Team Chaol still at this time, too.
So sad that she obviously still loves him too, because you read inside of her head a lot of this book, and she's not off him. She's mad and she doesn't really want to
Trust
be
him.
on him right now, but she's not like, I don't love him, I don't care about him. She cares so much, but she's just trying to figure it out inside of herself first. So this was so sad, and now she's leaving.
I know. All right, last chapter, end of this book. Chaol is puzzled. He's puzzled by the date. Selena had whispered a date in his ear, which included only a month and a day. He walks back to the castle and goes to her suite to look for anything that could help him understand why she told him that day. He sees a stack of half-hidden books and opens a chronicle to the date that Selena had told him. The date includes a report about the king and queen of Terrasen's assassination, and the queen's name, Evelyn Ashriver, draws his attention. He remembers that she was a princess in Wendland, so he opens a genealogy of that family. He finds Aelin and her mother on the family tree, and he notices that Aelin's great-grandmother is Maeve, one of the 3 Fae sister queens. The Chaol suddenly flashes back to Yulmis when Selena received an arrow, which was symbolic of Mab. Mab was the sister queen who died and became Lady of the Hunt. Chaol then realizes that Celaena is the lost queen of Terrasen, Aelin Ashriver Galathinius, and is now headed for her allies. And that is how the book ends. I was like, I'm going to be so honest. The very beginning of this book, I called that Celaena was Aelin. Ellie can attest to this. I texted her my thoughts. And when this happened, it is the most adrenaline-filled feeling of being right about that. I was so like, I knew it. Woo! Oh, man.
So I did not... at the time, I'm not looking for theories. I'm just reading to have fun. Now that I'm more of like a psycho, I do read to find the deeper meanings and theories because I know Sarah's writing them in there. However, when I read this, I knew Aelin was going to be a main character. I knew that. I knew she was going to be the main female character. So when I started reading about Selena, I was like, who are you? So I actually thought, and I mean this, that at some point Selena would die, and then all of a sudden someone would take her place, and it would be Aelin. So I thought it really was 2 different people. Now, realistically, in my mind, I thought, Selena's probably going to end up being Aelin. But because of how the reels I'd seen and the things people had told me played out, I did think I must be wrong about that. Selena must end up going away because I think they're two different people. Also, she threw me for a loop so much when they talked about whispers of Aelin are coming, and Selena like did not acknowledge any of that with the rebel cause or anything. So that's I think what really sold me in. Oh, they're two different people. So I was more shocked about that, but I was like not out of care, like not a crazy thought, but definitely they had me thrown for a loop.
I just like that Chaol and us as the audience find out at the same time that they are one and the same. But
I'm no better than Chaol. Makes me mad.
At least at this point, we are so much better than him. But guys, that means since we've already done Assassin's Blade, the next we get to jump into Heir of Fire, and that is
the best.
My second favorite book. It's my second favorite book.
Is Kingdom of Ash your favorite?
No,
or is Empire of Storms your
my favorite?
That one's really good. I think Empire of Storms or Kingdom of Ash are my favorite. Heir of Fire's second or third. I can't decide. I don't know. I don't want to.
I'm gonna be so honest. I think Kingdom of Ash could have been half the size. Like, I think it wasn't my favorite because a lot of it felt so unnecessary, and it felt like she was just dragging out an ending that was a long time coming. But
it was very emotional, and it was a very emotional person.
The ending was emotional, but the most, I don't know. It was all emotional. I don't know. Yeah. It was too long for me. So
I loved it though. I really like her long books. I don't know. All the Crescent City ones. That was top tier for me.
I love her long books. I love when a book is at least like 800 pages because it gives me a lot to like digest. I think that it felt long for no reason.
It was redundant. Okay.
Yeah, like we've already had 7 books. We don't need it to be this long.
I get embarrassed bringing around, like I had to carry House of Flame and Shadow with me on vacation, and I actually had to pack 2 other books in my suitcase, and this was the only one in my carry-on because it was the only one that fit in my backpack. And I just felt dumb bringing out this massive brick of a book and being on the last like 20 pages, and I'm like, that's right, I couldn't finish, so now I have to bring this whole book. But it was what it was. It was fine.
That's funny. All right, guys. Well, thank you for sticking around with us. We hope you like this. We're super excited to jump into Heir of Fire, obviously. And like I said earlier, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all things. Leave us a review, send us a message if you have any questions or what have you. But we hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you next week. And good luck.
Bye.
I don't know.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great one.
Good luck with it. Your life.
Bye.